What's up, family? Happy Monday. In the background there, that's one of my favorite piano players, Keith Jarrett. Actually, that's not Keith Jarrett. Maybe it is Keith Jarrett. Yeah, that's Keith Jarrett from the Cone recordings. 1975 was the year. So what's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you wherever you are in the world. And I'm just hanging out. Just grabbed something to eat on my way to the gym before they shut down. And I was like, I cannot miss my Mood Mondays tonight. So here we are. So I titled this live stream, besides Mood Mondays, I usually have like an actual title after that. But I just had a piano emoji, a music note emoji, and a meditation emoji. Because that describes my mood. Neuromusical mindfulness is a term that I just recently came up with and I'm working to coin. Thanks for everybody who's watching live. Neuromusical mindfulness. So my whole life is turning into this in a major way, and it really makes me happy because everything is coming out of my self-care journey. And so this week, this Friday, I will have my first ever solo piano concert, my own solo piano concert. And so what I mean by that, just to clarify, is that, you know, I've played solo piano more times than I could remember. Hundreds and hundreds of times, for sure. I've had countless gigs over the years since I started performing live in, let's see, that was 2007 when I came out with my first project. I was playing in church before then. So I've been playing now for a while, even though I started late. I started learning the piano at 21, for those that don't know. That always seemed to be an interesting fun fact for most people when they realize it, especially like several years ago. So, you know, I've had countless situations where I was playing the piano by myself, so that would be considered solo piano. But this is the first time that I would have ever put on my own concert around solo piano. Now, those of you all that came to my birthday concert last year, the Serenade, you know that I did about a 20-minute set out front. That was the Serenade, which was a solo piano set. And then the band came on and smashed, might I add. That was a great night. And I actually have to go back and reshare that video, or we'll put up the other video, because that was a great night. You got to hear it if you haven't heard it. So, you know, that was in the midst of my own concert, but this whole expression will be devoted. And so what I'm talking about, for those that don't know, is that this coming Friday, January 24th, 7:30 p.m., I will be at Andi Music doing the Key Reflections piano meditation concert. And so this is exciting for a couple of reasons, which is why I put those 3 emojis, because this is about the piano, this is about frequency and music frequencies and, you know, musicality, and it's about meditation and mindfulness. And so today, on how many people here that's watching realize that today was 1/20/2020? Did you realize that today was 1/20/2020? That's kind of wild. We'll never be able to say that again, as far as the 1 and then 20. Anyway, so this really kicks off a new chapter of my life, and I'm excited about it. that it's in 2020 and it's at the top of the year, and that is that I'm going into a deep place of meditation and music and mindfulness. And you all already see it, those that follow me on a day-to-day basis. So this Friday, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm going to be playing the entire album. I'm going to be doing all the music from that project. Hey, Geraldine. Hey, Farrell. Hey, Sherry. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to be performing all the music from the Key Reflections project. If you're here and you're listening, let me know if you've heard the CD or not. Lovely Miss Gianna, have you heard my project Key Reflections or not? Sherry Hunt, Farrell, Geraldine, have you heard Key Reflections? If not, I graciously ask you if you have a few minutes of your time on the way to sleep, like it's perfect music for rest, or if you're driving and you need to clear your mind, I ask you if you could to listen to my project Key Reflections on whatever service you already have streaming. So if you stream on Spotify, if you have Apple Music, if you stream on YouTube, just search Aaron Hill Key Reflections. I really want to know what you all think about this project, and if it really brings you like a meditative vibe, and if it really is good for your meditation and your quiet time. So this Friday, I'm going to be performing all the music from that project, and this will be the first time performing all these original compositions back to back. There's something for everyone, and solo piano is my element. You all will hear that at the beginning of the album because I expressed that in words. And so I'm excited about bringing everyone in on that experience this Friday. So the flyer is in my photos if you get a chance to check it out, or you can look down my page and you can grab the tickets from ondimusiclive.com. Friday 7:30 we'll be there. Tickets are only $12 online, and so that's one thing that I'm super excited about. And while I'm covering gigs, I'll go ahead and cover the other gigs this week to give you all what's on the list this week. So Thursday, as always, we are at JoJo DC. If you all are in the DC or Maryland or Virginia area, we're at JoJo in DC. That's 1518 U Street, and that's our home in DC. And our meaning Clarence Ward III, and that feel good. It's always a great time, always a great vibe, and if you're in that area, it's great. And it's a free, it's a restaurant where you come in and sit down, have good food, good drinks, but it's free, no charge, and that kind of thing. So there's that. And that's Thursday night, every Thursday night, by the way. And we're there from 7:30 to 11 every Thursday. And then on this coming Saturday, I'll actually be back at JoJo's on Saturday, this coming Saturday, January 25th, from 6 to 9. I'll be at JoJo's with Fruition. The Fruition Trio will be at JoJo's on Saturday night, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoy trio, and I love my trio. And there's a certain kind of chemistry and conversation. So if you're able to join us at JoJo on either Thursday or Saturday, and we'll be at JoJo's. It'll be myself, Charles Wilson on drums, and Craig Austin on electric and synth bass. It's gonna be a lot of fun, y'all. We're gonna have fun. Trio is like one of my favorite conversations, and I love all musical conversations. I love quartet, I love quintet, I love solo, and there's a specialness of trio that I love. So I'm looking forward to it, and I haven't had too many trio gigs with Fruition recently, so it's gonna be fun. So if you can join us, once again, I'll go back from the top. Thursday night, 7:30 to 11 at JoJo DC with Clarence Ward III and That Feel Good. Friday, join me at Andy Music, which is 7:30 p.m. for my solo piano Key Reflections concert. And that's at Andy Music, 409 Charles Street. And then back at JoJo again on Saturday, 6 to 9 with the Fruition Experience. So those are the gigs. And then I wanted to tell you all that yesterday I had a really good time because I was a guest artist at Unity Center of Light, which is in Bowie. And so this is a place where I've been, several times before. I go there a couple times a year. And I was able to present some of my piano music, which they really appreciated, from Key Reflections. And then for the first time live, I was able to do my new guided meditation, Breathe Deeply. And it was cool because it was a little bit of a surprise because I didn't know until, Thursday? I didn't know until Thursday that I was going to be doing it. As I talked to the secretary and she asked if I could do the guided meditation for the service, and I was like, hell yeah. I really said it. No, I didn't say that, but I could have, though. In a Unity church, it's all right to talk that way. So anyway, went there and I got a chance to do Breathe Deeply for the first time in my history live. I mean, it's going down in history. It went down in history yesterday. 1/19/20. And so that was cool because that opens up the door of where I'm going with this neuromusical mindfulness, which is I'm really going back to like the beginning of where music and this whole kind of artistic expression started for me. And what do I mean by that? For those that don't know, that the pianist and composer that you all know and the producer really from the ground up was a hip-hop artist. I was a rapper. I used to rap. I used to clap. I used to throw it back. I used to put it down like that. But it was better than that though. It wasn't that corny. That was kind of whack. But I can still freestyle. I just don't sound like I'm in the 80s or 90s. So I used to, that was what I did. Hip-hop was my thing. And I was pretty good at it too, if I might say so myself. I had to let you all hear some more of the flavor that my group was called, the first name of the group was Verbal Assassins, and then it was Ill Poets, and then it was Critically Acclaimed. And so from 14 to 17, my musical life was hip-hop, and I was a lyricist and artist. And before that, I was into poetry pretty heavily. I wrote poetry. So I started off as a writer and by all means as a vocalist, So at this point, going to these guided meditations and all of this stuff that I had planned for my Deep Groove series, which has to do with my voice and quotes and positive affirmations and guided meditations and instrumental music that really works with your neural pathways. Like, I'm going back to my musical source. So I'm deeply excited about that. And that's what this season takes me to. It brings me all the way back home. The other thing I'm excited about is in that kind of cycle, I went from hip hop, and then the only reason why, for those of you all don't know, another fun Aaron Hill fact, the only reason why I play the piano right now is because of a fabulous hip hop group called The Roots. My group was very similar to The Roots as far as conscious hip hop style, and I was really fascinated with them. And at 16, I was looking at how they took their music live, and as a band, and it was like, this is a hip hop band. This is 97. What is a hip hop band? All the artists would just mainly go on stage with DJs and spinning tracks, but like this was a band and that was brand new. So I was with my group. At that time, we were Ill Poets. And I was with my group, and, no, actually, this was when I was with Critically Acclaimed. So this was a few years later. So, I'm looking at the Roots, and I'm like, man, this is so dope. Like, these people are taking their studio music, and they can actually play it live. Like, it sounds just like the studio, but they're playing this music. So the group, we all talked about it, and we were all like motivated and intrigued by it. So what we decided was that we were going to become a group of 3 rappers that also played instruments. And we would basically be a trio. One of us would play drums, one of us would play bass, and the other one would play piano. And all 3 of us, we would rap, and we would be the world's first like musical rap trio, rap band in that way. So I had a fascination. I chose the piano because I was like, I'm familiar with this instrument the most, because at that point I was a hip hop producer, so I was used to, hitting buttons and playing around with drum machines and all those kind of things. And then, a number of the studios that I went in, you'd be working on a keyboard. So I was like, well, the keyboard is the closest to what I'm familiar with, so I'll choose the keyboard. So I grabbed me a little Casio keyboard from Sears. And at first I just started making beats with it, where I would just sample from the keyboard. It was actually great because I had a whole new palette of sounds to sample. But at some point, little really funny story right here. My father is the second coming of Rhett Fox. I promise y'all. This dude is funny as hell. He's crazy. And not even trying to be. So he's the second coming of Fred Sanford. So I'm talking to this dude, telling him how much I want to learn the piano and I wish I had a teacher. And he's like, yeah, man, I understand what you're saying, man. I really understand. This goes on for like at least a couple weeks. And then one day he says out of the blue to me, yeah, man, I understand what you're saying, as far as wanting to learn the piano. Yeah, I feel you. Like, I feel you. And then he's like, well, if you want to, you can just grab that piano course that I have in the other room there. And I'm like, what the hell? You mean to tell me for 3 weeks since I've been saying this, you've had a piano course in the other room? I'm like, what? Oh, my gosh. So needless to say, after having that moment of like, are you serious right now? I went in the other room, and in the location where he said, there was a piano course, and it had cassette tapes and it had a book. And so I sat down with this piano course, and I taught myself how to read music. And that was the beginning of my piano experience, and starting to become familiar with the piano and move in that direction. And so, while I was doing that, at the same time, I was still making hip-hop tracks, and that's when I started getting fascinated with live music. And at the time, when I was in the church, I decided that I was going to participate in the music there. I came up in one of those churches where you had to do something. And so they tried to force me to be a minister, a deacon, and that shit was not my... Hey, Yvonne. I wore that badge for, a little bit, but then I was like, yes, I'm not walking with white stoles and dressing up in white suits with white shoes. I'm like, this is not your boy. So music became my thing, and I became fascinated and expanded my horizons from there. But, from that place, I'm going to take you all in the gym with me for a couple seconds while I get going. From that place, I learned how to read music, and then I found a mentor who would teach me piano as it applied to music theory and all these kind of things. And that took on a whole new shape, because from there I developed a fascination for music at large, for all styles of music. Let me have my water bottle. I'm slipping, y'all. I'm trying to go in the gym and I don't have anything I need to go in. Forgot my water. That's all right, they got a fountain. Natalie Crawford, hey, how are you doing? How's everybody doing today? How's your Monday going? Please drop a line. I hate talking to myself on Mondays. How's your weekend? How's your Monday? How was your weekend? So I go in that direction and start learning piano, and before you know it, I'm into all other styles of music. Played gospel for 10 years, got into smooth jazz, then got into straight ahead jazz, and got into smooth jazz like 03, 04, then straight ahead jazz in like 05, and studied classical for a little bit with a teacher from Russia, Marilia Caputo. And then I got into fusion, I got into all of these things, covered the palette, blues, funk, whole nine. And then eventually, now here we are, all the way back home to where it started. Back to the hip hop thing. Hello. I'm fine, are you? All right. Good to go. Thank you. So from there, now we're back all the way back home to hip hop, neo soul, where it all started, but bringing back home all these other genres with me, and the fact that for the first 6 years of my musical life, it was what I'm doing now. So I'm excited about that, and that was a great time. Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate it. How you doing, bro? All right. So Natalie says, good. I spoke about your meditation with my doctor, and she was very interested and will be looking for your work. Natalie, I could not appreciate you more, and so I really thank you for that. That really means a whole lot. I really appreciate you for that. Really appreciate you. So she can find all the work online, as you know. She can type in Aaron Hill TV, or she can go to any music service, whether it's YouTube streaming, whole nine, Spotify, all those kind of places, and just type in Aaron Hill and Key Reflections, which is the newest project. So appreciate that. And I'm gonna actually release another meditation very soon, so look out for that. So that's it, everybody. That's the word for me right now. What's going on with me? Now I'm about to knock out this quick workout. You all see where I am. About to get it in where I can fit it in. And before they close, because they close at 9. So I'm out of here, y'all. Do a quick workout. And so if you're just watching this, take it from the top. I got a few more things I want you to hear. I was talking about to work on this body. I'll see you in a few. Peace.